Here we are, Friday night in Rider Nation. They are painting the town green. Corey Chamberlain said he designed this team this year to beat the Calgary Stampeders.
And to do that, they're going to have to get Corey Sheets rushing. He was number 2 after week 1, as he was last year, behind one man in the Canadian Football League, and that was John Cornish, who led the league last year and started week 1 with that lead, 172 yards against the BC Lions in week 1. Those are the two names on the marquee.
John Huffnagel, well, you're going to need that headset tonight, Huff. It is loud at Mosaic, the Madhouse, the Greenhouse. 2 undefeated teams, their first chapter read. Drew Tate's CFL career began, by the way, as an apprentice in Regina.
Calgary, number 42.
6-1 as a starter. This is just his 8th start in the Canadian Football League, although he's been around for some time. The one loss was last year when he started in week 2 against Toronto, but was injured early and left that game. So his only blemish on his career so far was a game he didn't even play that much.
Already the noise a factor. There was a hold on that return, so long field now for the Calgary Stampeders back at their 17-yard line. Tate to the air right away, and he finds his new favorite target, Maurice Price, picking up where he left off last week. 6 catches, 77 yards, as we take a look at this offense and the starters to watch for Calgary.
Well, start first and foremost with John Cornish. It's been the talk of the town all week long. Can the Rider defense stop Mr. Cornish with his 172 versus BC? Joe West had a couple of touchdowns. If too many people are looking at Cornish, talked about Drew Tate, 3 touchdown passes, just 1 mistake last week, 1 interception.
Quickly a first down, though, and quickly to the ground. John Cornish looked like he slipped there. Tyrone Brackenridge, who moves to the free safety position in earnest this season. Tyrone Brackenridge is one of the players to watch, but we'll watch these guys too.
And they're the job of these guys to try and stop Cornish. That'll be on the shoulders of Keith Shulgan. Had a couple of sacks in week 1 against Edmonton. Tate George served the suspension that he got from the playoff game and a hit on Drew Tate last week, so he's back in the lineup, and Ray Williams in the middle had a big week 1.
Second down and 6. Tate has to holler out his signals. Here's the rush. Pump fake. There he goes. Down the sideline. Open man. And look out here, because Joe West has brought it in and brings it down near the 15-yard line. We've seen this play before against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. The pump and go. Remember, for the West Division semifinal.
Well, we told you to watch Joe West. Joe West, 2 touchdowns in week 1, and watch him just take off down the field. Not real fancy in the route running. He's just a little bit of a step to the outside, straight speed, and the ball put right on him from Drew Tate.
So far, the Mo and Joe show. West, Price, receptions. Tate, little dump off now. And Marquay McDaniel pounds it near the 5-yard line. But how about that play? Drew Tate going back to what won that thrilling semifinal in Calgary in the West Division semifinal. The pump and go to Romby Bryant, who is no longer here.
Well, 68 yards inside of 1 minute, and it advanced Calgary to the Western Final, where they beat the BC Lions and went on to the Grey Cup.
That play to Joe West, 64 yards. West had 2 touchdowns last week in the win over BC. Second and 2, inside handoff, and inside the end zone, touchdown. And once again, Marquay McDaniel gets the call, and the Calgary Stampeders come out blazing.
All the talk about John Cornish and Drew Tate goes to the air with a long play to Joe West. They use Cornish here as a decoy, come around the edge with Marquay McDaniel. And John Cornish didn't touch the football.
This play is being reviewed. You can see McDaniel lunging across the nose of the football, just has to penetrate that yellow line. They're going to look at it as they do with every scoring play in the CFL.
It's a touchdown.
And it didn't take long.
No, our referee tonight, Glenn Johnson, telling the crowd, and you can tell already, so loud and suddenly so silent, that it indeed was a touchdown. What an explosive start for the Stampeders, who did the same to the BC Lions. Remember last week, opened up with a 16-0 lead. First drive, first score. Goes to the Calgary Stampeders here in Regina tonight. Marquay McDaniel's first touchdown of 2013. Little sweep inside, finding the end zone after a solid drive, highlighted by a couple of big plays. One huge one. Joe West already has 3 huge catches this season for the Calgary Stampeders. 2 touchdowns last week. So Rene Paredes will kick this off, and now it's Saskatchewan's turn to hold serve early. John Sanders looking for a seam, finds one. Pretty good return up near the 35-yard line. So the most significant play, the last big play the Saskatchewan Roughriders saw from the Calgary Stampeders was the pump and go in the West Division semifinal. Robbie Bryant for the win. First significant play that they see this year.
They go to Joe West. Robbie Bryant's no longer here, but it's Joe West, and this time, watch how you see the newcomer to the secondary, Prince Miller, looking back at the quarterback, not at his man, and Joe West blows right by him.
Corey Sheets coming off an impressive showing last week in Edmonton, where he picked up 131 yards on the ground. Brandon Smith, Corey Sheets, and John Cornish, obviously subplot to this game. Number 1 and number 2 in rushing last year in the CFL.
Well, the plot.
The plot.
Coming into this game. 2 stars. But there's a lot of talent on this field, and we saw it with Joe West.
Including the 2 quarterbacks who both wear the same number 4. And Weston Dressler slices his way to the midfield sweat. Weston Dressler coming off an all-star season. Only had 2 catches last week in the win. 57 yards, but already has 1 early here tonight. 13-yard pickup.
Corey Sheets with 131 against Edmonton. Dressler was quiet for Dressler standards. Just 2 catches, 57 yards. One was a big play for 38. Ben Heenan, pressure on him again with Charleston Hughes lined up on the other side of him.
Corey Sheets squirms forward. Fred Bennett, the tackle.
What a start by Charleston Hughes of the Calgary Stampeders. 3 sacks in game 1. Jawan Simpson, his 239 career sacks. He's going to have to add to that to try and track down Corey Sheets here tonight. Take a look on the outside, a couple of tackles.
There he is, Charleston Hughes, the sack master. 2nd down and 6, just inside Calgary territory. Riders trying to answer. Durant fires already. Weston Dressler has a pair of catches, Glenn.
Well, that's what we talked about. He got off to that real slow start for him with a couple of catches in game 1 against the Edmonton Eskimos. He had the 38-yarder, but clearly when they watched the video of that game, Darian Durant said, we got to get the football number 7 more. They've gone after him in this first drive.
Another first down from the Calgary 43-yard line. And again, they'll pound the ground with Corey Sheets. Expect to hear a lot of Corey Sheets tonight. Expect to hear a lot of John Cornish. DeMonte Bolden, who missed last week, makes the tackle. 'Cause 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 'Cause
these teams great success running the ball in week 1. Offensive lines played very well for both teams, and despite the fact they've got some young guys up there. You can tell by the amount of running plays on first down from a week ago, went well above the league average. Run the ball well, it's because your offensive line's playing well.
Already have run 3 times at first down, 2nd and 8, trolling down, and again! Darian Durant finds Weston Dressler. 3 catches in the first 7 minutes in this drive already for Weston Dressler.
He's going to run the coverage off and then come back to the football when he sees his quarterback in trouble. Weston Dressler is the 3rd receiver to the wide field. Looked like he was going to come deep, and then he comes back to the ball. Working on Jamar Wall.
1st and 10 inside the 30-yard line. They don't hand off this time on first down. They go over the top, and there's a penalty flag. And that will move the ball further into Stampeder territory. Jonathan Hefney coming off a terrific performance. 10 tackles last week. The former Winnipeg Blue Bomber tripped up Chris Getzlaff.
I don't know that it was intentional, but it was interference.
Forward pass interference, Calgary number 1. It's first down at the point of the foul.
This could be an interesting matchup all game long because Chris Getzlaff often will be that inside 3rd receiver to the inside. That means linebacker Jonathan Hefney, former Winnipeg Blue Bomber, will step up and cover him.
8th play on a drive that started at their own 36. Can they find the house? And the newcomer, Eron Riley. Eron Riley comes into the lineup, makes his first CFL catch for Greg Carr, who was released by the Saskatchewan Roughriders somewhat surprisingly this week.
A little bit, although Greg Carr did not do a whole bunch in week 1. He was filling in for G. Roy Simon, and I talked to G. Roy today before the game. He said he'll be ready to go next week and probably could have played this week. But right now, Riley's got his opportunity. Carr's been released.
Saskatchewan fans salivating at the promise of G. Roy Simon in green and white. Have not seen it yet. Durant flushed out. Now goes end zone open, and just past the outstretched fingertips of Chris Getzlaff. Getzlaff usually makes those highlight reel catches. Kind of mistimed his jump, but he needed a few more inches on that already towering frame.
Yeah, he just looked like as he was going for this one, the timing was a little bit off. The ball may have floated a little bit on him. Gathered himself up, did get his fingertips on it. You can see he was having trouble getting that body turned around.
That's a catch that Getzlaff, although most don't make, usually does.
He got off to a good start, led all receivers for Saskatchewan last week.
Chris Milo finishes off the drive with a field goal. So off and flying, particularly Drew Tate. Bombs away and the touchdown. It's 7-3 Calgary. Early at Mosaic on Wendy's Friday Night Football. The CFL on TSN is brought to you by Wendy's Berry Almond Chicken Salad. Wendy's, now that's better. On a perfect Saskatchewan summer night for football. Friday night, where would you rather be than right here, right now, inside the huddle of the Calgary Stampeders. Lead 7-3. Cue the volume. Drew Tate looks to the air. Far side, Nick Lewis continues his career-long streak now. 159 games and counting with at least a catch.
You mentioned it, Rod, that the Calgary Stampeders got off to good starts in both of their games this year. You look at week 1 versus BC, 9 plays, 75 yards and a touchdown. 5-play drive to start this game against Saskatchewan. Only 1 touch in the 5 to John Cornish, a 4-yard gain on the second play. But they want to use that. Basically, the media have been talking all week about the Riders stopping Cornish. Wanted to use that against him and go to the air and over the top to Joe West.
Drew Tate, kind of like Chad Owens, busy in the offseason with some interesting training methods, starting to use MMA training. I asked him last week, I said, did you ever think maybe, you and Chad Owens someday in the octagon? He said, are you kidding? He pummeled me. He said, I only use it to train.
Just training, yeah, and he wants to get that core as strong as possible. I asked John Hufnagel about that. He said, do you change protections to try and keep him on his feet longer, maybe try and get rid of that injury bug? He said, no, I don't worry about any of that. He's going to get hit. He just trained real hard in the offseason. We hope he hangs in there.
Foley by Michelin for the plunge. Such a journey last year for Drew Tate. Up and down all around. Was his team to begin the season. Second game of the season, went down with a shoulder injury. Then they had the insurance policy, not this man, but Kevin Glenn. Good insurance policy. Tate plays later, leads his team to the West Final, got hurt, didn't play. He wants to stay healthy. Another first down. Tate over the top again, and unable to bring it in is Joe West. Blanketed on the far side by Macho Harris. And look at Drew Tate, that fire, that's what he brings. But remember this.
Here's the hit you were talking from for Tate George. Supplemental discipline. Wasn't thrown out of the game, but you can see he led with his head. Drew Tate was injured on the play, had concussion symptoms. Did not play the next week. That was Kevin Glenn's show.
Terrius George did not play last week, suspended because of that hit. And there he goes again, deep down the sideline, and almost connected with Mo Price. And there is that fire that Drew Tate brings, and sometimes even John Hufnagel says, hey, I have to calm the guy down.
He is pumped up, and he let Maurice Price go after that one and go get it on the outside. And they are pushing the ball deep, testing this young secondary for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And Maurice Price was in behind coverage on Macho Harris.
Twice, Drew Tate looked a little upset with the routes that were taken. Rob Maber, all-star punter last year. Jock Sanders trying to bust one, but now we've got a penalty flag and maybe another coming here. Some extracurriculars after the whistle. We'll sort it out when we come back. That's when the other number 4 brings his offense out again. Darian Durant and the Riders down 4 here tonight. The CFL on TSN is brought to you by Nissan. Innovation that excites.
With an illegal block on the kick, Saskatchewan backed up inside their 10-yard line.
Long field here for Darian Durant. And off again to Corey Sheets. He has nowhere to roam. Gang tackled in the backfield. Brandon Smith is there. Justin Phillips draws back in the lineup again here tonight. Malik Jackson.
Yeah, that's why I had those 2 linebackers and the players to watch, because they're going to try and feed Corey Sheets the football here and do that from start to finish. He'll be the focal point of this offense. That means the pressure on Juwan Simpson, Malik Jackson to make those plays.
And again, usually Keon Raymond, a big part of that linebacking crew, not playing again for the second week because of an ankle injury. Darian Durant spun, turned the other way, and one-hopped it to Weston Dressler. So a very quick 2 and out, and a huge loss of field position here.
Almost to a point where Corey Chamberlain may have to give up the safety and give up the points to get some field position back. Ricky Schmidt will be standing about 6-7 yards deep in the end zone.
Ricky Schmidt.
Although big average, so they may just kick this away.
Yeah, big leg. It's really helped out since they acquired him, and indeed he's going to let it fly. Look at this kick. But Larry Taylor is back. Taylor has a crease, and then he's dropped. but instant field position on a 48-yard kick from Ricky Schmidt. Back at Mosaic Stadium. Not only the home opener for the Saskatchewan Roughriders tonight, but the beginning of the journey to the Grey Cup game, which will be played here. And all of these fans in this province would love to see what's happened the last couple of years. A home team make it to the Grey Cup and win the Grey Cup. A lot to happen before that happens, though, as Maurice Price takes the pass on the outlet, and there's a penalty flag back at the 30-yard line. It flew late after Price was tackled.
Marquay McDaniel threw his hands in the air as if to say he was innocent to the official. He was late to that party as Maurice Price on the hit screen. After both Price and West went deep, should open up some underneath stuff for him as this game goes on. Loosen up that young secondary for Saskatchewan.
Once again, here's Glenn Johnson.
Major foul. Unnecessary roughness. Calgary number 67. It's going to be a 15-yard penalty. It'll be second down. Second down.
Hard to tell. It sounded a little bit like he said 67, Dimitri Sumpas.
So a late hit, apparently. Watch Sumpas here. There it is.
Just to the left of your screen, Sumpas was cruising. John Chick.
John Chick. Now Tate again over the top. And Nick Lewis. Geronimo does it again.
Drew Tate got up limping after avoiding the pressure on the edge. Stepped up in the pocket, and he finds his target over the middle, but he has to move around to do it. Nice double move by Nick Lewis to open up, but Drew Tate got up limping a little bit. Looked like he was favoring his ankle.
– 24-yard reception, first down. Pitch pass here. Price is leveled by Tyrone Brackenridge, but again, Stampeders moving the football, even when they were in the hole after the penalty, able to get that first down right away.
Well, they're trying to work on Prince Miller. Prince Miller is playing the wide side corner for Saskatchewan because of the late scratch of Carlos Thomas. Joe West ran right by him in that first drive for the deep ball. And you see 14 up there. Now they're trying to throw it underneath him and test out him in his first start in the Canadian Football League. Out of Georgia, he's just 5'9".
This time it's Cornish. Lunches forward. Ray Williams makes the tackle, the former Hamilton Tiger Cat who began his CFL career in Regina, coming back to his second home now, and that is indeed a first down. They'll move the chains once again.
Well, Drew Tate looks good.
He does.
He looks in complete control. Great poise in the pocket. He's 7 of his first 9 throws and has 1 drop in that group for 130 yards passing.
And he's barely used his biggest weapon, John Cornish. Tate. And threads the needle. McDaniel, who scored the first touchdown of the game, he was blanketed by Weldon Brown, the former Eskimo. But again, very close to another first down.
Yeah, there wasn't much room for error there for Drew Tate. He's got to put this out in front of Marquay McDaniel because Weldon Brown's in a perfect position on the high shoulder, and he can't cut underneath and gamble at that because if he misses it, it's a touchdown.
Time ticking down. Last play, first quarter. 4-point lead for Calgary. They look to extend. Look at the start for Drew Tate. There's Cornish. Left and right and up the middle again for another first down. And when we come back for the second quarter, the Calgary Stampeders will go first and goal, looking to extend their lead. Tate's been hot. Stampeders red hot here tonight on Wendy's Friday Night Football. A 4-point lead for Calgary threatens to grow here. The Stampeders often galloping in Regina tonight.
Well, 2 good early drives by both teams, but Calgary finished theirs with a major. Saskatchewan settled for a field goal, but Drew Tate has looked great in that first quarter, and that's where you see that in the numbers with the passing yards.
You know, everybody's talked all week long about John Cornish,
yeah.
CFL Canadian of the Week, CFL Canadian of the Year. Maybe so much focus on number 9. Forgot about the air game.
Well, no question. When everyone's talking about John Cornish, you know Saskatchewan's going to try and load up the box, get a few more people to the line of scrimmage to try and help stop him. And Drew Tate has taken advantage of that in the first quarter by throwing the ball deep, loosening up the secondary and getting the one-on-one matchups he wanted.
Having said that, John Cornish had a pair of touchdowns on the ground last week against BC in this territory. He had 11 rushing touchdowns a year ago. Phenomenal season for Cornish. Will he get the ball this time? No. Tate looks, hangs on to it. Now he throws and touchdown. Rob Cote. Happy birthday. Touchdown. Penalty flag on the play. Cote wide open after Tate had to buy some time effectively.
Poise, composure, not scrambling out of there. Drew Tate is in complete control and command of this offense. Backed himself away from the pocket to buy some more time, allows receivers to open up.
Legal contact on a receiver, Saskatchewan. Penalties decline. Touchdown.
Pretty good coverage initially, and laid out of the backfield was Rob Cote, but because Drew Tate bought himself some time, pushed away from the pocket, Cote was able to open up.
Rob Cote, who comes in over some of those option plays, but also really handles a lot of the blocking. Cote played some junior football in Victoria, of course, a couple of touchdowns last season, his first of 2013, and it happens to come on his 27th birthday. Well, Drew Tate, you talked about it, Glenn Suter. That was the game plan coming in here.
We're going in, believing that they're going to load the box and stop the run. That's their probably first priority, and which is going to open up a lot of downfield throws and open up our receivers to do more things with the ball in their hand.
And there you go. I mean, that is the game plan. Focus on Cornish. If that's where the focus is, John Huffnagel says that's no problem. We've got talent elsewhere, and boy, Joe West and Maurice Price, they can run.
Team that is so quick. Just ask the BC Lions. They found out last week, throttled in the season opener. John Sanders again. It's a couple blocks. Darts up near the 40-yard line.
No, it's early in the game, Rod, but this is an important series for Saskatchewan to try and stop some momentum. Drew Tate looks unstoppable right now. And if they start to add in Cornish and he gets going, it's going to be a long night for that defense. So Jerry Durant's got to stop a little of that momentum with the drive here.
Durant had his team moving. Drive stalled. Trying to settle for a field goal. Weston Dressler's been the main target. This time, gets left. It's punished by Jonathan Hefney. Hefney again. Playing in the linebacker spot, normally a defensive back, but did play some linebacker in Winnipeg. Came over to Calgary, released by the Blue Bombers, ran afoul of the law, possession charge in the offseason. He's been a model citizen since he came to the Stampeders.
And had 10 tackles in week 1 to lead everyone in the Canadian Football League.
First and 10, little counter.
The handoff to number 1.
Already see the jawing that's going on here, and I know it's only week 2. We saw a little bit of it last night. The playoff type atmosphere in BC Place between the Argos and Lions. Anytime these two teams meet, look at only a couple of weeks ago in the preseason, it was a thriller. down to the last minute.
Yeah, no question. And this is a rivalry the fans love, the players love. Charleston Hughes is going to be doing a lot of that talking you're talking about.
9 yards away from a first down, right on the 55-yard line, the midfield stripe. Here's the rush. Durant, far side, and Rob Bagg is over there. But he's going to be short of the first down. The long toss to the far side of the field. 6-yard pickup, and this is still going to bring out the kick team.
You know, the throw to Rob Bagg had to be where it was, or there was some danger that it could be picked off, because on the outside, you see the underneath coverage that's undercut, and the ball is thrown to his upfield shoulder to lead him into that first down territory. It had a chance to be picked off, so Darian Durant really had no choice.
Not bad. Dion got to come back to that ball.
There's the other returner who wears number 2 tonight. Former special teams player of the year, and Larry Taylor. Look at that hop. Big bounce, comes back. Taylor picks it up, and he's going nowhere. Now the long field for the Calgary Stampeders, but tonight, Saskatchewan Roughriders have no answers for Drew Tate. 14-3 Stamps on Wendy's Friday Night Football.
That was a perfect punt by Saskatchewan's Ricky Schmidt. He has a big average. Watch what he does with the ball pointed downwards. It's usually like that. And he does that to get a little juice on the ball down there, the goal line. Sucked it right back to the 5-yard line. Put Drew Tate in the hole.
Looked like a Phil Mickelson sandwich. Ricky Schmidt. Drew Tate. Longest field here for the Stampeders. Nick Lewis brings it up near the 8-yard line. Let's go to the sideline, and joining us tonight is Lee Jones.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Good evening, gentlemen. You know, there's not a lot of Stampeder fans here at Mosaic Stadium, but there is one, and that is Robert Jones. He is the father of Brett Jones, the starting center of the Stampeders. And coming from Weyburn, they have a love for the Riders so much that it's kind of taken some time for everyone to turn, but there's getting more and more Stampeders in that city. Now, he learned from Brandon Labatt, of course, who is his offensive lineman, the Saskatchewan Roughriders, as well, growing up in Weyburn, and when they both went to the University of Regina, and gives him tons of credit for the way he's playing now. Guys?
Thank you, Lee Jones. No relation. Drew Tate. Boy, it looked like he might have thought about the hook slide there. Tyrone Brackenridge had him in his sights.
Brett Jones, great story. I mean, a guy that is following in the footsteps of Dimitris Supas, really, it's not very often a draft pick starts in his first year.
I can tell you something. That's the first time ever that Robert Jones wore that jersey in this stadium. And a proud dad.
And he is proud, isn't he?
Yeah.
And when he has those glasses, every snap, guess where they're focused in on? Number 69, right at center. Good for him.
Brett Jones has done very well so far.
John Hufnagel told me yesterday his best surprise in camp was Brett Jones. How quickly he picked everything up.
The guy whose draft stock might have fallen because they thought he was going to go to medical school. Look at this. Sean Sanders still on his feet. Good return. 29 yards for Jock. Great field position for the Roughriders when we return. The other football tomorrow, MLS on TSN. Saturday, Seattle Sounders FC in Vancouver taking on the Whitecaps. Live coverage gets underway at 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific, right here on TSN.
Mentioned that last offensive series. They needed a series or a few first downs to stop the momentum. Didn't get it, but they did get a big punt by Ricky Schmidt to stop momentum. So the Riders have a chance to maybe grab some here with this field position.
Yeah, terrific punt. First down to the 35. Darian Durant, lots of time. Dressler comes back into it. Tries to scrape for a couple more yards. Fourth catch already for Weston Dressler as the sun peeks out here. Sun starting to set in Regina.
Dressler already involved almost twice as much as last week. He's 4 catches already for 40 yards. We're not even finished the first half. He had 2 last week.
Mosaic Stadium, raucous as usual tonight. Great places, Canadian sport to come and watch. And look at this. Dressler now shakes one and another. He'll score. Touchdown. Weston Dressler had 13 majors last year. There's his first of the new season, and it was a beauty.
Dressler's going to run the curl as he hits it. Watch the first step when he catches the ball. Timing perfect, throws there. Hefney's a little too far outside, and then he makes a great move to outrun the angle of Eric Fraser.
And keeping up with the math here. Early on, thinking like a playoff game already. The Riders are going to try to make this a 3-point game. 9 minutes left in the second quarter. 2-point convert attempt. And they get it. Corey Sheets. And the volume has increased at Mosaic. Weston Dressler, a couple of key catches that go back to that punt, which could have been a single point, and what a difference it made. Riders punch it in. The All-Star shines again in Regina. The shifty, sure-handed North Dakotan, Weston Dressler, who has become a star here in Regina ever since he came up. First year, Rookie of the Year, and has just kept doing it. There's just the latest chapter.
A great example of his tremendous quickness. He runs a curl route and takes it to the house. That doesn't happen very often.
Boy, is this one already up on the excitement level. A lot of big plays already, and Larry Taylor runs into a green wall. Whitney Tureen was there. Kind of been like a tennis match so far. Djokovic against Andy Murray. One serves, the other returns.
It's tennis with contact. It's a little different.
I'd like to see a lot more of that. Should wear helmets. Again to the air. Mo Price came back to the football, and he has become a dependable target. That was not an easy catch.
Well, we've seen now 3 hitches in a row, either that quick out or the hitch by Maurice Price on Prince Miller. And what is he trying to do? He's trying to set Miller up in his first start for the double move. They hit him early, now they go underneath a few times, and then watch for them as this game goes on for Price to double move it and try and get in behind 14. And he's got the speed to do it, Rod.
The only thing that's a dangerous pass to that corner. There's the hitch again. Mr. Second Down himself, Nick Lewis. One of the best second down receivers in the Canadian Football League.
Well, yeah, and consecutive, all he knows is 1,000-yard seasons. And, you know, I'm not talking about back in the good old days with tight ends and the bigger receivers, but in the new era of football, in the Canadian Football League, Nick Lewis is the best blocking receiver of all in that time.
Not many receivers make highlight reels like he does for his blocks. Cornish has been held in check so far. Monster week last week, 172 yards on the ground, 192 yards total from scrimmage. Remember, last week he also cut a check for $2,000 to the flood relief program. He said that he would donate $10 per yard in that very emotional game in McMahon Stadium as Calgary tries to clean up after the flood of 2013. Second and 8. Is this Nick Lewis time again? Takes in trouble. Gets out of it, and what a tackle there. And again, the Saskatchewan Roughriders do a number as Will Davis is able to make the shoestring tackle on Drew Tate.
But the pressure comes up the middle from Tay George, who was probably the most consistent defensive lineman through camp and the preseason for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. He gets that early pressure. When he gets up, gets that much penetration, that's where Drew Tate had to duck that pressure, come up the middle, and then is tackled just at the line of scrimmage.
Credited with a sack. First of the game. First time there was a lot of pressure on Drew Tate. There's a penalty flag. Jock Sanders inches out past the 40-yard line. Well, Glenn, I don't have to tell you about this place in Regina. Football crazy. Yes, 40,000 plus, including possibly a future prime minister, certainly Liberal Party leader. Justin Trudeau traded his red for green today.
Well, if he goes to a Calgary Stampeder game, I'm sure he'll have a different color t-shirt on, but that's good politics.
Green Party. Maybe a little different politics.
Whatever team you're in, whatever city you're in, make sure you're wearing the right team colors.
Have a few of them in your wardrobe. Just make sure you have them all. It was a smart move. Anyway, Justin Trudeau here as well, among the many, including a lot of Calgarians who have made the trip, although you just see the little pods of red here and there at Mosaic. There's a sea of green. Darian Durant and the Riders down 3 inside 6 minutes before halftime. A terrific first half of football already. Corey Sheets head down, bowls forward, 4-yard pickup. Malik Jackson the tackle.
Interesting to see, because Demetrius Morley on the last drive for Saskatchewan, the safety for Calgary, is on the field now, but wasn't out there for those last 2 plays at safety. And he's back now. I'm not sure if it was a rotation or he had a little nick on the sideline.
There's the rush. Smith, his first touch. 5 catches last week. Malik Jackson and Brandon Smith in on the tackle. Tajidin Smith.
You know, I mentioned the safety position because Morley had won the job. Now Eric Fraser will move in, but Fraser had a tough sequence. He was playing safety on the touchdown to Weston Dressler and actually had a poor angle on the tackle and had some problems on this drive. Morley wasn't in the game. Thought he may be nicked. Lee Jones checked on the sideline. Didn't want to talk about why he wasn't out for those last 2 plays. He's back on the field now.
Former Tennessee Volunteer Demetrius Morley. Another first down here for the Saskatchewan Roughriders from their 30. Sheets has a path. And if not for Demetrius Morley, that would have been a big game.
Corey Sheets has a nice shuffle step. He really does. It's just, it's subtle, but when he gets the ball, eyes up on the hole, he's right behind the goalpost, but he'll flash to the right of the post. Now here he is. See that little shuffle step, real subtle, buys himself a split second for the blocks to develop and then hits it.
Chatted with Corey Chamberlain this week. He said, you know, I've never seen a guy who seems so slow. He doesn't have that flat out 40 speed, but can do so much with it. Kind of Earl Campbell-esque. Darian Durant, sidearm, slings it out for Taj Smith. Incomplete pass.
Just an overthrow. A bit of an overthrow there from Darian Durant. Looked like he almost stumbled a little bit as he tried to deliver it. He was stepping up in the pocket. Kind of fell forward, got that body lean, and it just, the ball sailed on him.
Durant comes to the sideline, but the Riders are going for it on 3rd down. Here comes their 3rd down quarterback, Drew Willie. With the Stampeders on the line. He goes forward and legs churning. Had to get to the 40-yard line. The spot looks like they're giving it to him just beyond the 40. And it will be a first down.
You mentioned it briefly there, Rod. You know, in that short yardage play, did you see Calgary with everybody up here on the line and a one-on-one with Dressler on the outside? Now, I'm just saying, in the next short yardage, if the Saskatchewan Roughriders wanted to try and fake one up the middle and take a shot over the top, there's a one-on-one with a whole lot of field back there, no safety help.
Not lost, I'm sure, on the offensive coordinators. George Cortez now the OC, formerly of Calgary. Durant goes deep, and he's got Getzlaff. Big gain again, Saskatchewan. Riders are rolling right now. 3-minute warning before halftime. They trail by 3. Something the Saskatchewan Roughriders did not want to see. G. Simon, all-time leading receiving yardage leader, not in uniform for the 2nd straight week.
But I had a great conversation with him about Chris Getzlaff, and I asked him, I said, seems to me that Getzlaff's confidence is high, and he said, Glenn, with this offense and his role in it, I think he's going to have a monster year. He got great separation there on Jonathan Hefner.
Durant, little play action now. The rush is on. And on cue, Mr. Getzlaff brings it in again.
Well, you know, and I said, well, you know, Chris is a good football player and had a slow start last year. And G-Roy said, no, it's the role and what he's done through the preseason. And this is a guy in G-Roy Simon who knows a thing or two about this league. I mean, and about the receiver spot. And the first guy he mentioned, he said, Weston Dressler will take care of Weston business. He knows how to do that. But watch for Getzlaff this season. He's going to have a monster year.
Corey Sheets pounding again for the first down. Back to G-Roy Simon, though. What a mentor he could become to some of these players here. He's been around for such a long time. You saw that number 989. He's going to break another record this season. Maybe in the next few weeks when he gets back in the lineup, becoming the all-time catch leader, breaking Ben Cahoon's record. Certainly within distance.
And that return to the lineup should be next week.
1st and 10 from the Calgary 24. Durant rolling again. Oh, what a catch! No. Ty Smith knocked out of bounds. Crowd didn't like it. Ty Smith went up like an octopus there, and like he just was able to bring that in. And is this going to be a catch?
Well, he dropped it. You know what? He didn't maintain possession as he was going down. And that's what I think the ruling is going to be here. He's juggling it a little bit. We can't see from that angle. His feet are in bounds. He did get the necessary 1 foot in bounds, but he didn't have control. So he comes down, he's juggling it.
Yeah, there it is right there.
It's going to be a question of control on the official side. He didn't have it.
Official was right there. 2nd and 10, the penalty flag. Durant goes to the end zone, and this time he's got it. Taj Smith. Touchdown, but isn't. This could come back. Taj Smith is putting on a circus show here.
What a catch.
This is going to come back. Penalty against Saskatchewan, but that is the best catch of the season. That doesn't count.
5-yard penalty, repeat, 2nd down.
There's your offside penalty. It looked like it may have been Eron Riley taking what was an unbelievable catch off the board.
Look at that. That's still worthy of a highlight of the night. I don't care what you say. Why not?
Whether it was good or not, it's worth another look.
Yep. 2nd down, 15. Under 2 to go before halftime. Good protection this time for Durant. Into traffic. Eron Riley did well. That became an incomplete pass. That was a dangerous one. Could have been picked.
Well, I like what Durant did. Durant, to try and get his young receiver back on track, he went right to him and said, look, you made a mistake, took the points off the board, but I'm going to try and give you a chance to make a play. Now, you know Riley's going to battle because that was well covered. I mean, Brandon Smith had inside position, Probably should have had the pick if not for Riley stripping it out of there.
Here's Chris Milo. Struggled last year. So far, so good in the new season. We are all square at 14. A minute 45 left till GMC Live with the half. Dave Randorf, John Climbing, Matt Dunnigan, Chris Schultz, Paul Police, the coach's playbook. 3 downs as well. Boys are set. They've been watching, and I'm sure all of you as well, treated to an excellent half of football.
Oh, absolutely. What a great start. All first quarter was all Calgary. Corey Chamberlain's team has come back in the second. And we're knotted at 14. See the end of Drew Tate. Either watch him go to work.
Tate, corner again, this time looking for Larry Taylor. They're saying he made the catch up near the 40-yard line. We've seen a lot of those wide passes to the flat. No hitch screens tonight.
Guess who's playing at that wide side corner? I hate to belabor the point, but that's why they're going out there. Dave Dickinson, the offensive coordinator, is going to test the rookie outside. He's got Joe West on him now.
Second down and 5. Tate flushed and lunging forward and making the catch is Anthony Parker, the former Calgary Dino. First round pick back in 2011, 3rd overall. Only had 6 catches in 2011, none last season. There's Dave Dickinson.
I love the toughness, but the clock is the enemy now for Calgary.
Another first down. Catch made again by Joe West. West, who inherited that number 85, left when Kenyon Rambo left the team. Served the Stampeders for many, many seasons. Big play player, and Joe West is filling that in well. Big play player.
Subject of my blog on tsn.ca this coming week. The new look receivers.
There are some beauties, aren't there?
There's some good young receivers in the league all of a sudden. Nick Moore last night, Joe West, Maurice Price.
2nd and 2, and John Cornish goes straight ahead.
Oh, we're seeing a little bit of changing of the guard. I mean, G. Roy Simon on the sideline right now, probably plays next week. Nick Lewis is not getting any younger, but is still obviously very valuable to this Calgary offense. Probably has a couple of years, but there is a changing of the guard and receiver we're seeing a little bit. BC's got a young core. Calgary's got some great young talent. It's fun to watch these young guys.
Well, everybody has always called it a quarterback league, but it's also a receivers league. You got some skill and talent and speed. Markway McDaniel close to a first down, run out of bounds.
Well, Maurice Price, as soon as you said speed, I thought of 17. I mean, that touchdown last week against BC was special, but we've also seen him run in behind Prince Miller in this game, and Drew Tate just missed him a ball early in the first quarter that just sailed out of bounds a little bit. But this guy can flat out pick him up and put him down.
What's made this game really compelling is there haven't been many 2-and-outs. A lot of long drives, sustained momentum on both sides. Cornish has the edge. John Cornish with a straight arm on Tyrone Brackenridge. They got a whole lot out of that, and unfortunately knocked down the cameraman.
How about Cornish on the old-fashioned, the good old-fashioned straight arm. Lost art. Watch this, just pop right there. Now, he gets it up in the face mask area. It is a possible penalty, but the straight arm is a little flashback there. Good old days.
The good old days. Cornish is a throwback. Season for the ages last year. Broke a 56-year rushing record set by Normie Kwan. Time ticking down. Tate goes deep. End zone. Has Nick Lewis, who can't hang on.
I'll tell you about a perfect throw. I mean, Nick Lewis can't corral it. He can't pull it in. But that throw was designed to throw Nick Lewis open. because initially he was covered by Tyron Brackenridge. But Tate put it up there and out over his top shoulder so he could make the adjustment and go get it. And he had both hands on it. That was a picture-perfect throw that Lewis couldn't corral.
Roughriders want to stop. Fans want to stop and hold Calgary to a field goal attempt. Tate, soft toss. McDaniel. Here, let's see what the spot is. A favorable one right at the yardstick. And that only ate up about 8 seconds on the clock.
Oh, plenty of time, yeah. Sorry, Rod, but plenty of time. Yeah, you get 21 seconds, get 3-4 plays in here if you're efficient. This is the game I think everyone expected. These two teams. After week 1, you saw the game Calgary played against the BC Lions at home. And then you go and watch the Saskatchewan game against Edmonton and how good that offense looked. Everyone was anticipating this matchup in a big, big way.
And these are two very good defenses, too. But two outstanding offensive coordinators and great offenses with quarterbacks. Look at how he stretches.
Dwight Anderson with the contact there. More on him in the second half, but he gets him out of bounds.
Tough week for Dwight Anderson. 5 for intentional conduct last week. Tate again. Over the top, and it's a touchdown! Joe West again.
What a drive. What a drive orchestrated by Drew Tate. Talk about some young stars to watch.
What a great talent, Joe West already. Second game of the season. Glenn Suter, he's got 3 touchdowns.
Well, there's just great trust. I mean, that's a tight window. And again, Dwight Anderson in coverage coming across, trying to get to Joe West, but Drew Tate trusts him. Through camp, through the preseason, that game 1 with his 2 touchdowns, he'll throw it into coverage to Joe West, knowing with that big body and strong hands, he's going to come back and get it. Take a bow, Mr. West. You deserve it.
Comes from his talent quite naturally. Cousins, Doug, and his uncle Mark both played in the NBA. His brother, Tracy Thorpe, was a pitcher in the Blue Jays organization. This guy is a catcher, and a great catcher on the CFL field.
Well, and you know what? Joe West arrived in the CFL right here in Mosaic Stadium. And his first play from scrimmage was a deep ball for a touchdown. So he likes it here. But that's as good as you can cover a receiver, and that's trust from Drew Tate to get it to his big target and let him win the one-on-one battle.
Is there anybody with more fire for his teammates than Drew Tate?
See Joe West just...
Business time.
Yeah.
I saw that on the previous time.
All business tonight, Joe West.
Business trip, adjusting the uniform, adjusting the suit.
Only 14 seconds remain before halftime. The way it's gone in this first half, perhaps there are more points available out here.
75-yard drive by Drew Tate, 9 plays.
Wow. Squibbed. Sanders. Look at this guy shot now. What a move. John Sanders.
That is fun, man.
5 seconds. So really a chance for a Hail Mary. Not going to get it into field goal position with enough time. Ben DeAguilar, in his first CFL game, made the tackle, the former McMaster Marauder.
Tim St. Pierre is trying to find his equipment out there. He just juked him right there, and he just, whoa, lost his balance, lost
a few things.
Wow.
There's
That's
DeAguilar.
a nice move.
Well, maybe one last crack here. 5 seconds to go. Again, highly unlikely they can get it into field goal range with enough time to kick a field goal. So why not air it out? Durant over the top. Look out! Eron Riley in a mid-air collision. Incomplete pass. That play epitomized the first half. High wire in so many ways. Stampeders and the Roughriders putting on a show. Calgary leads 21-14. Friday night lights in Regina. Friday night highlights in that first half.
What a first half. And a great final drive to end the half for Calgary. Drew Tate, 9 plays, 75 yards, and a touchdown to Joe West.
Stamps kick it off, second half underway. Calgary leading by 7. Jock Sanders has had a couple of nice returns so far. Hasn't broken anything yet. In fact, has not had a touchdown return in his brief career in the CFL. But you can see why they like Jock Sanders.
And they will work him into the offense to give Durant another target as well as this season goes on.
Stampeders came out roaring. Darian Durant and the Roughriders answered. Not to be denied, and then late in the half, Stamp scored again. Quick drop for Durant. There he goes. Lets it go. Corey Sheets, his outlet out of the backfield. The escapability again from Darian Durant in full evidence.
After week 1, you look at Charleston Hughes' stat line and you say, this guy's ready to get out of, just shoot out of the gun like a cannon, and he did with 3 sacks. He did not have a stat in the first half. 0 tackles, 0 sacks. He's got a little bit of pressure, but so far Xavier Fulton or Ben Heenan, whichever edge he's off, have been holding their own.
He had his way with the BC Lions last week. Not so much tonight. They'll move the sticks. Another first down for the Roughriders. Well, a game that we thought may feature a lot of defense has really been an offensive showcase so far.
Big second quarter for Darian Durant. A lot of those 144 yards came then. Corey Sheets has been involved, sprinkled in here and there, and you could tell out of the gate Weston Dressler was the focal point of this game plan. 5 first half catches.
Durant again, hands off. There goes Corey Sheets. Eric Fraser finally wrestles him to the turf. Another big gain for Corey Sheets, who
See the shuffle?
with the shuffle. See the Corey Sheets shuffle.
Yeah, the Sheets shuffle. And he does it again. He's in behind Darian Durant in that shotgun and shuffle and then hit the hole.
Look at that gap opened up by those guys on the offensive line. So far tonight, the plot line, Cornish versus Sheets. Sheets finished second to Cornish last year in the rushing race. Tonight, Corey Sheets leads the way.
Come out, not a bad idea offensively, game plan to come out and pound the ball a little bit in the run game. But let me show you that one run again, just to show you the Corey Sheets real quick. Watch his feet and shuffle and then hit the hole.
This time spied perfectly.
Sean Lemon had enough.
Sean Lemon just comes
said, hold on,
bursting into the backfield.
Yeah, he just penetration. Former Edmonton Eskimo last year, 12 games in Edmonton, and part of that rotation up front. Play opposite of Charleston Hughes.
12 games, 6 sacks in Edmonton.
And he'll get some opportunities for one-on-ones because of the attention that Hughes gets on the opposite side.
His play in the preseason, as well as others, made Stevie Baggs expendable. Chris Milo, 38-yarder is good. The Riders pull closer again. 4-point deficit. CFL on TSN returns Sunday. Edmonton Eskimos, Hamilton Tiger Cats in Guelph. The home away from home for the Tiger Cats this year. 4:30 Eastern, 1:30 Pacific. Former Rough Rider Andy Fantuz. A big breakout year for him in Tabby stripes. Drew Tate at the controls again. Wants to go, and what a tackle. Ricky Foley, the most outstanding Canadian in the Grey Cup for the Toronto Argos, brings him down.
Chased him down from behind. Big offensive first half for the Calgary Stampeders. I thought Drew Tate looked excellent top to bottom in that first half. 222 yards passing. Mentioned that 75-yard drive to end the half. Had a couple of touchdowns to Joe West. John Cornish used a little more in the second quarter. Big Joe West making a mark.
Minimal gain, 1 yard. Here comes that green rush. There goes the ball. Tate going deep for West again. Great play that time. Macho Man, Macho Harris knocks it down.
Difference here, Rod, is that he's going against the more experienced, and when I say more, not much more, but the more experienced corner in Macho Harris. A couple of years with the team. Not on the wide side to Prince Miller, and see how Harris times his jump. Gets up there and is in perfect position to knock that out of the air.
Only 2 games played last year. Macho Harris did spend some time with the Philadelphia Eagles as a free safety in the National Football League. So, 3rd and 9. 2 and out. Sanders fielding it. Another cutback. And then he's smothered near the 39-yard line. Time to check in with our sack tally, brought to you by Purelator, tackling hunger across Canada. Check.
You heard Matt Dunnigan talk about the Winnipeg defensive effort against Montreal in Montreal. Nice win for them. Congratulations to Tim Burke.
See that Calgary Stampeders sack tally, 3 sacks, all by 1 guy last week.
And it's been, that same guy's been quiet tonight.
Charleston Hughes, named Defensive Player of the Week. Silence so far. Here he comes. There it goes. And Ty Smith tackled there.
Charleston Hughes was nicked a little bit there as he came around the edge. And Darian Durant stays right where he has to in the pocket. If he's a half a step deeper, that's a sack by Hughes. Comes around the corner, but because Durant's nice snugged up in there, he can't get there, and you saw him grab his left or his right elbow. Those elbows.
Stampeder is down at the far side of the field. Brandon Smith was walking over to the sideline. Then he went down on 1 knee, injured on that last play. Calgary Stampeder defense that has had a few changes. Again, this week, Corey Mace gone for the season. Tough luck for Corey Mace. 2 years ago, first game of the year, tore his Achilles tendon. This year, first game of the year, dislocates his shoulder and still played through it.
Yeah. Didn't realize how severe it was, played the rest of the game, and then realized he was actually damaging him more. So he's gone for the year. Junior Turner comes in for him. Justin Phillips will play a little bit more. Now, John Huffnagel does have some depth coming off the injured list. Keon Raymond is very close, so is Quincy Butler. So see what happens with Brandon Smith.
Another name that lurks in the wings is Kevin Huntley, former Argo. The Stampeders practice roster. 2nd and 6. Durant strong arm again. And West and Dressler signals first down. Very aggressive tackle that time on the little guy.
Done a lot of different types of routes setting up his man. It's been Jamar Wall for the most part, and is again here. A lot of those little curls underneath. The moment that the Riders feel like Jamar Wall's going to try and jump onto those, they might try and double move him. The old hook and go.
Roughriders controlling the football again. And again, it's Corey Sheets getting the call. John Simpson in on the tackle. Corey Sheets coming off a career week, career day. 131 yards. You know, you look at again the marquee today, Cornish versus Sheets. So many similarities in their numbers from last season. Very close in total yards. Dual threat backs. Guys who find that hole and explode.
Well, and it was those two in the race last year. Looks like might be a lot of the same this year.
Play action. Scott McHenry has the catch. Darius Brooks on the tackle.
And that's with all due respect to guys like Jack Cafford in Toronto. There's some good running backs, but this is a guy that they quietly sort of implemented into the offense. Scott McHenry had a touchdown down at the goal line in Edmonton last week on a very similar play where he just went out in the flat. They were about the 5-yard line. He punched it in, made a nice low catch there, and lines up at that fullback spot, or he can play tight end as well.
Former 4th-round pick of the Stampeders, did not play for them, was a Blue Bomber, now a Rider. Former Saskatchewan Husky, Darian Durant decides to go, and he is upended. Hard to believe, mark this down. 7:21 to go in the 3rd quarter, and that's Darian Durant's first rush of the ball game.
Yeah, but he's healthy this year. Last year he had a hip flexor issue for most of the season, something he didn't talk about a lot. Limited his rushing numbers.
A guy who can go with that football, and asked Corey Chamberlain once, he said last year he wanted Darian Durant to be more consistent, and he wants him to be even more consistent this year. Saw a coming of age of Darian Durant last year as they signal another first down, where he didn't try to do too much and try to stay within himself.
Well, and it's a lot to do with the offense that he's running and the changes that he's had to deal with. Now it's George Cortez, and what Darian Durant is hoping for is that he'll get this consistency over some time. He's had, I believe, 5 different coordinators, Ken Miller twice in 7 years. That's difficult.
Yeah, terrific numbers tonight, though. Another long drive engineered by Durant and the Riders. Play action again. Goes to his left. Looks end zone. Dressler! Overthrow that time. Usually you see Weston Dressler trying to lay out. You can see that one was way overthrown.
Same matchup. Jamar Wall, look at that little wiggle move to get himself some separation outside and then run away. Ball thrown right to the deep corner and just missed.
Riders have had a number of drives here tonight. Stop and stall and settle on Milo field goals. Durant. There's a holding call. This will be nullified, and was looking for Corey Sheets. You can see that was right in front of the official.
We'll take a look while they sort out this penalty. And one thing I've noticed is Eric Fraser is back in the game at safety. No Demetrius Morley, but I also noticed that DeMonte Bolden is on the defensive line.
Saskatchewan, number 65. That penalty's declined. 3rd down.
Now, when you're talking about balancing the ratio, that could be part of the equation. If it's not Junior Turner in the game or Justin Phillips, then DeMonte Bolden comes in. They may have to substitute the Canadian at safety in Eric Fraser. Now they've switched it up for the special teams and the field goal, but that could be the reason that we saw a little bit of Eric Fraser.
Chris Milo this time from 29. Major challenge for him this year. Bounce back year. Only 11 of 17. Lost his job last year. Looking good so far. Perfect tonight is Chris Milo. There is so much of our world to uncover, and Discovery has created a channel that captures it all. Discovery World, free preview all July. Call your television provider for more information. Well, no doubt, Discovery would have no problem discovering this place. Magnet in this province for football. Mosaic Stadium. 1-point game. Joe West, another reception close to the first down mark.
Well, Drew Tate's been slinging it, but just if you're curious as to that derby going on between John Cornish and Corey Sheets, right now Corey Sheets had 14 carries for 73 yards, and John Cornish has 6 touches, or 6 carries, I should say, for 33. So right now, more carries and more yards for number 1, but Lots of time to go here, and we're going to see more of John Cornish before it's over.
And as we talked about early, not the MO for the Stampeders tonight to use Cornish as much. Second down, a short yardage team out.
It's interesting you say that, though, Rod, because I think all week long people were starting to kind of think or say that this was a one-dimensional team, that the Calgary Stampeders were going to be John Cornish, John Cornish, John Cornish, and they've proven tonight in basically 3 quarters that they can do a lot more than that. Drew Tate can sling it.
Well, Saskatchewan fans know they saw a lot more of John Cornish than they should have last year.
Yeah.
When he had an unfortunate mooning incident here. The maturation of John Cornish has come a long way as well. But tonight, Saskatchewan Roughriders have been all over Cornish.
I talked to John Hufnagel about that. And I asked, is it a different Cornish? Is it a Cornish that, could still have that in him? And he said, absolutely not. He said he thinks, he used the word a more educated John Cornish, that he had learned from some of those things that happened, including moon over Mosaic, as you mentioned.
Forgettable moment, young man's career, but nonetheless, again, an unbelievable season.
And a good example of that is what he did with flood relief last week.
Absolutely. 2nd and 7 now. Here comes the rush. Blitz is on and complete.
By the way, that donation from John Cornish was completely his idea. He approached, I talked to Hufnagel about that as well, and Cornish went to the coaching staff and said, hey, you know what, I want to do something.
And it wasn't for the publicity.
No, absolutely not. He said, I want to do something, and I want to give back, and how can we do that? And he came up with that, and he wrote the check, and that was all on him. So it seems like he is, a little more educated, as John Hufnagel phrased it.
One thing you don't have to educate him on is how to carry that football and run with it, though. What a year he had.
Pretty good at that.
Ron Neighbor. Hand over hand kick. Josh Sanders behind cover, and a very minimal gain on the return. It's a 1-point game here, and the moon is over Mosaic tonight. Wendy's Friday Night Football. 2:49 to go in the third. Stampeders by 1. Let's go to the sideline again and join Lee Jones.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Rod. Brandon Smith not on the field. He's currently behind me working on the bike. He got a bit of an injury on that last defensive series. They were looking at the outside of his left knee. He did some runs as well as some cuts on that last offensive series for the Calgary Stampeders, but it didn't feel right. So right now he is questionable to return. We're going to try to loosen things up and maybe return in the 4th quarter, guys.
Thank you, Lee. Durant steps up, and another Smith, Taj Smith, with another catch. Did you have one of those bikes here when you were playing?
There were a few, yes. There were a few. There were a couple.
Not on the sideline?
We didn't really do that. That's a newer thing, like as of 20 years ago, I think. I say newer because it's been that long. Got to keep it loose. Try and keep it loose, because if they start to ice it down, then it's over. He's done for the night.
So many players using the flush the lactic acid out. There's Getzlaff again. Chris Getzlaff has his 4th catch of the evening. That is more than he had last week. 3 catches, 67 yards in the win over Edmonton.
Second behind Andy Fantus last year for Canadian receivers in the CFL.
Numbers down last year, had more receptions, but yardage numbers down. His touchdown numbers down by 8. Yeah, remember the year before, that team was 5-13 last year, 8-10. Almost got to the West Division Final. And the goal this year for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, make no mistake, is they rebuilt, revamped. They want to do a repeat of home teams getting to Grey Cups. Once they got that date here, knowing that Regina would host the Grey Cup, the goal is to be there.
And it's the same goal for 7 other teams.
Yeah.
But I hear what you're saying.
It's been a trend lately.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying with the home team, because you're right. 2 in a row, and they'd like to make it the hat trick.
2nd and 7 yards. Durant again slings it, and Dressler still on his feet. It sounded like a whistle had blown. Dressler apparently down earlier. Knee was down, but Weston Dressler having a Weston Dressler type night.
Well, his knee was down, but was he touched? Because you could be down and get up and run. And it's a matter of whether or not he was touched down by contact. His knee's down there, and he is touched in the back. So that's a good call by the official right on the spot.
7-point lead for Calgary at halftime. 1-point lead now. This has been a completely Saskatchewan Roughrider dominated third quarter. Durant again.
I get that same feeling, Ron, that just Saskatchewan's had the ball all third quarter.
Time of possession. They've owned the first down department. Calgary's been very flat thanks to Saskatchewan's defense. We're set for a good one. High tempo, edge of your seat football. Wendy's Friday Night Football. We head to the fourth from Mosaic on TSN next. Wild first half, no touchdowns so far in the second half, only 2 field goals in that third quarter. 1 point separating these teams on the scoreboard. Look at the stats, separated by hairs here.
Well, and both teams on pace to close in on 400 yards of offense in this game. We've got a close game. We've got great play calling. In that third quarter, by the way, the Riders had the ball for about 11 minutes. The Calgary Stampeders about just 4. So the Riders had the time of possession. Calgary had just 1 first down. That's where Dave Dickinson's got to make some adjustments coming into this fourth quarter. Try and get that football, get a couple more opportunities. But play calling's been outstanding here tonight by George Cortez and Dave Dickinson to mix things up. Have Corey Sheets and John Cornish involved, but also throw it down the field.
A couple of master play callers, offensive coordinators. Durant on 2nd and 6. Look out. How does he get away? He does it again. Tucks it, takes it, and a first down. We've grown accustomed to that.
Well, the leg's back. You could tell by that run that there's no problems with any injury residual effect of injuries from last year. I don't know how he gets out of trouble there. Charleston Hughes had a chance at him, and he knows where the first down marker is, or else he would have stepped out of bounds without having to worry about taking a hit from Jamar Wall, but he needed that extra yard. Get that little push out of bounds.
Roughriders doing a tremendous job of keeping the Calgary offense off the field with these sustained drives. And a lot of mix and match. They really haven't had 2 of the same play in succession. Go to the ground, go to the air, find somebody different. They've been spreading it around.
Well, you're right. In the first half, we saw a whole bunch of Weston Dressler, and it's been a lot of Corey Sheets in the second.
20 plays to 6 plays in the second half for Saskatchewan. Another second down. Up the rush end. This one's up for grabs at the goal line. Incomplete, but a flag on the play as Weston Dressler, slow to get up, was sandwiched.
Looked like Jonathan Hefney, our coach, Paul LaPolice, at halftime mentioned the matchup between Dressler and Jonathan Hefney. That Dressler was starting to get the edge on that matchup early.
Interference call against Hefney.
And Hefney does get up high early before the ball arrives. In fact, looked like the ball hits the outside of his elbow that's across the face of Dressler as he goes down. Jonathan Hefney has been in chase with Weston Dressler all night long. The coach was on that matchup.
Absolutely. Roughriders take the lead in this ball game for the first time. Sheets. Corral. And now second burst. Touchdown.
Calgary's arguing that his his forward progress was stopped and that there should have been a whistle. Was that a little G-Roy there?
I believe it was. Corey Sheets has been super tonight.
Well, I think Calgary fans are wondering why there wasn't a whistle. I think everyone in the park, including the Stampeders on the field, thought that his forward progress was stopped. But he kept his hand down, kept balance, and then turned, spun.
His knee did not go down, but they are going to review this.
The score is under review by the Command Center.
Well, they review every scoring play. So that happens anyway. But I didn't hear a whistle.
No. By all accounts, he should have been down right here. You see his hand. Look at.
No knee.
That's great strength, by the way.
Yeah, hand is
Touchdown's good.
Yeah, and there was no whistle to stop forward progress. Sometimes you don't have to be down. If you're not progressing the ball forward, the official can blow it dead. But there was no whistle, so he kept chugging. Tremendous balance, and Corey Sheets, with second effort, hits Pater.
And once again, they line up to keep the math correct here to make it a 7-point game. 2-point convert. Durant stands in. Successful. Weston Dressler. And for the first time tonight, the Saskatchewan Roughriders have the lead. Corey Sheets. A tribute to G-Roy. What a game. What a game. Saskatchewan now rallies back. First lead. The Roughriders have scored 5 times in their last 6 possessions. Since they were down 14-3, they have outscored Calgary 25-7. Mo is in their corner. Momentum. Stampeders need to get their offense on the field. And Larry Taylor has a nice return.
Let's go back. I want to show you where the official was on that run. It was the umpire, Gordon Unger, who was right to the right of your screen there. And he's got his eyes right on Corey Sheets. Has the whistle there. Did not blow it dead. And watch the forward progress continue. So he was right on the spot. You can't get a better angle or view from the official.
Look at Ben Heenan.
Ben Heenan gives a little hug for his running back.
Way to go. Decibel level is raised here. Cornish time. Very quiet tonight, John Cornish. Now the Stampeders, for the first time tonight, have to play catch-up.
Not many touches. You know, that's why Cornish, not many touches for him compared to Corey Sheets.
Second and 4. 4-man rush. There's the pump and go again. This one is up for grabs, and it's knocked down. And once again, Maurice Price in double coverage this time. And it doesn't look like the Saskatchewan Roughriders are giving that one away like they did earlier.
Well, once again, it was that matchup, and Drew Tate thought he tested one more time. That's Prince Miller in his first game, but look how deep he stays this time. Never allows Maurice Price to eat up his cushion, get behind him, and Tyron Brackenridge has seen that play enough in this game tonight. Went flying over there to help out his young cornerback.
3rd and 2 and out for the Stamps. 3 straight possessions, 3 straight punt teams. They flatlined here in this second half. Rob Maver puts his right leg into it. Good kick on the sideline. Jock Sanders. Look out! There he goes! And Jock Sanders with an electrifying return. 19 yards when it looked like he would be stopped for nothing. Regina is rocking. The CFL on TSN is brought to you by GMC. We are professional grade. 28-21. Home opener for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. A game far, far from being determined. This could go down to the last team with the ball tonight. Been a crazy one, but it has been great Canadian football at its best. Clean football, no turnovers, only 7 penalties. Durant gets up. And he's brought down in a hurry by Jamar Wall.
Yeah, it really has. No turnovers in this football game. It's been a clean played game, physical game. Offenses putting some points on the board.
Swings of momentum.
Absolutely. CFL at its best.
Only 1 sack. Who will blink? Second down conversion time for the Roughriders. Durant, quick hitter, and it's Getzlaf again, who almost got away from Eric Fraser. 7 catches tonight for Chris Getzlaf.
Eric Fraser gets up limping a little bit. 7 catches for Getzlaf. He's working that curl zone again. It's either curl or corner for Getzlaf tonight. Or excuse me, for Getzlaf or Weston Dressler tonight.
And Eric Fraser goes to the sideline. Looks like he got nicked up a little bit. First and 10 Roughriders. Corey Sheets ripped down again by Sean Lemon. Stop for a loss. Will be second and long.
Nice low angle for you. Sean Lemon reads the block and then anticipates the play from there. And I see Junior Turner back in the lineup at defensive line for Calgary. And that means Demetrius Morley can come in and play safety. Eric Fraser lift off.
Again, all about the ratio. Stampeders were showing blitz and then stepped back, and Dressler went down again. And this time he is stopped well short, just past the initial line of scrimmage. So for a rare occasion in this second half, Ricky Schmidt brings that strong leg out.
Interesting too there. Eric Fraser was on the field with Junior Turner there. So this coach is doing an amazing job of balancing this Canadian ratio.
Yeah, you have to be an accountant, don't you?
Or have one beside you on the sideline.
Larry Taylor's back at his 10-yard line. He's been contained so far. Again, that backspin kick. There is a penalty flag. That came before the kick. Might that be a lot of flags? And some rough stuff behind the play as well. Might be too many men based on where that flag was dropped. We'll have to see here.
Too many men. Calgary. A 10-yard penalty resulting in a first down.
You know, every time a too many men on the field penalty is called, the Saskatchewan Roughrider fans cringe a little, but when it's against them, they love it.
Yeah, and Rod, you started that sentence. Every Rider fan watching this game went, no, don't bring it up. Don't bring it up.
Count them up, Suits.
There's got to be 2 returners back there, 12 and 13. Got 11 across the front.
And that was a costly penalty because it's an automatic first down for the Roughriders. They get a reprieve here. 8 minutes to go. Lead by a converted touchdown. They keep it on the turf. Sheets with a spin move this time. Around Jonathan Hefney and was able to pick up a couple more. Justin Phillips on the tackle.
Well, you know what? Let's go back and count them again because this is a big penalty. And Calgary fans are wondering.
There he is on the end. 11 and there. 12.
And then a returner back outside to the right of your screen, just outside of your screen in the end zone. So that wide player, I'm not sure which one shouldn't have been on the field, but there were 13.
Glaring gaze of John Hufnagel. Not happy with that. Breakdown. Sheets again. Breaks through. Looks like another first down. Saskatchewan has absolutely owned the football here in the second half.
Well, up front, they really have started to control that line of scrimmage in the second half. Ben Heenan playing another good game in just his second start at right tackle. But I expected tonight, Rod, to talk about Charleston Hughes for a lot of this night, as well as he's played all of last year and in week 1 of this year, and we have barely mentioned him.
And that's a tribute to those 5 guys up front.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Xavier Fulton on the other end, sometimes they'll move Hughes around, but at left tackle, Xavier Fulton, who Chris Schultz, by the way, last year said he felt was the best offensive lineman in the league.
Here he is, number 58. Left tackle, protects the blind side. Ben Heenan, right tackle. First and 10. Gary Durant picks it up, and then he is dropped. And Sean Lemon with the drop. And that was a big sack, but it was a broken play from the beginning because of the snap.
Yeah, Dominic Picard, I'm not sure if he's trying to figure out the stunt in front of him. Looked like it might have brushed his leg or something, bounced off him. And in those cases, quarterbacks just have to take it on the chin and live to play another down.
That was a big one because that would be a long field goal attempt here. If Calgary can hold. They show 3 men. They rush 3. Durant lets it fly. And they're going to stop Weston Dressler and aggressively throw him down. And unnecessary. And there's the unnecessary and unnecessary roughness, because that is another enormously costly penalty for the Calgary Stampeders. That would have stopped the drive, give up a field goal at best. But instead, the Roughriders will continue this drive.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Calgary number 1. 15-yard penalty at the end of the play.
2.
Jonathan Hefney. And Hefney has a bit of a past from his days in Winnipeg. Forward progress stop, whistle went. It wasn't Hefney, actually. It was Hefney on the outside. They got the wrong number. That was Juwan Simpson that threw him down.
2 ridiculous penalties against the Calgary Stampeders here.
Kept the drive alive.
Kept them alive. Too many men and unnecessary roughness. Now Durant. Far side. Gets left. Will score. Touchdown. And the Roughriders make the Stampeders pay.
What a night for Getzlaff. Everything thrown his way. He has been money. 8 catches, 2 yards away from 100 yards on the night.
Look at this move.
And how about this second effort? Oh, now did he cross the plane, or was that ball outside? Every touchdown is reviewed.
It's under review by the command center.
But tremendous effort from Getzlaff. I know Calgary fans want to see that again, because I'm not sure if he didn't have that ball on the outside of the pole. But what an effort. Stays in bounds.
Hand touches.
They're saying it was good.
Milo with a point after. And time Stampeders, who have not had enough time offensively with the football in the second half. It's been all green and white. Their biggest lead, 35-21.
Oh, you do?
Two guys who've been seeing a lot of each other tonight. Darian Durant and Chris Getzlaff. Touchdown for the guy they call Getz. Weston Dressler also seeing a lot of action and a lot of smiles on that sideline. This game has completely turned from the beginning of the second half. Calgary has not put a point on the board. They dominated the first half. Larry Taylor. Right now, Stampeders need some sort of energy, some momentum. Let's go down to Lee Jones on the sideline again.
Well, for them to get back in this game, their defense is going to have to make a stop, and it's going to be tough. They're starting to lose players. Defensive tackle Mika Johnson has a nice pack on his right side. He's likely not going to return. While Sean Lemon, of course, looked extremely good in the preseason. Former Rider and Eskimo, he had a contact problem. Neither of those players were on the field when the Riders scored a touchdown, guys.
And the worst news, Lee, is that this crowd is really into it. So communication is going to be at a premium. No, it's a drop. It's a one hopper to Maurice Price.
Well, and Drew Tate's got to stay on the field. I mean, the time of possession in this second half is staggering when you think the Saskatchewan Roughriders own the time of possession in the second half. And I see Kevin Glenn now coming in.
Kevin Glenn in the ball game. Former Rider, as a matter of fact. Glenn was the guy who engineered a lot of victories for Calgary in Drew Tate's absence last year. Glenn in trouble. Down he goes. Ray Williams, game breaker a week ago. Pick 6. That time, sacks Kevin Glenn.
Got some help from the coverage in behind. I think Glenn initially had some time to throw the football, but he had to pull it down, hold on to it bit for another second, and Ray Williams and Ricky Foley got home. Think of how this has turned for Calgary. They were off the field twice on the last Saskatchewan offensive series. It ended up in a touchdown to make it a 2-possession game.
Worst thing is their defense has given up 6 scores in 7 possessions. Jack Sanders. And they're gassed. They need to come up with some big play, possibly a turnover. We just talked about this penalty-free kind of game. And if the Stampeders are unable to come back in this game, the autopsy on this one is going to go to those miscues on those penalties. Well, Too many men.
Yeah.
That's a game changer, game coster.
And again on the next
Legal block.
penalty.
Saskatchewan number 42.
See Drew Tate.
10-yard penalty. First down.
Getting some ice. They've been looking at that arm for most of the game. When he got to the sideline, he's been playing through it.
Well, Drew Tate, who's had injury issues last year, of course. And this was earlier. They were looking at his arm. It's like the forearm area. Has his helmet on. 3.5 to go. Time running out on the Calgary Stampeders here tonight. Game they owned at halftime has gotten away from them. Corey Sheets. Half the first down yardage. Drew Tate came out slinging it. The gunslinger did early. Look at the numbers in the first half and a benign second half.
Well, two reasons for that. One, he didn't get many opportunities because of the time of possession difference, and Saskatchewan had the ball so long. But when he did, not a lot of John Cornish in the second half. So on first down, they didn't get that production on the run game, and then looks like
Please put
Tate's been hurt.
3-1-4.
Unless for the first time ever a quarterback comes up out on the field with an ice bag taped to his arm. He doesn't look like Drew Tate is going to be able to go the rest of the way, and this is Kevin Glenn's game to finish.
You're so right, Rod, about that. Those 2 penalties on the last defensive series set it down for the Calgary Stampeders. Undisciplined, unnecessary roughness kept that drive alive. Also, the too many men was a mistake before the snap of the ball. or it's still a one-possession game with Kevin Glenn with plenty of time. Remember, that's the quarterback that led this Calgary team to the Grey Cup last year.
And he's got a few miracles up his sleeve. He's done this before. He's a composed guy. He's been in this situation. But right now, the Stampeders in dire need of a stop. And Corey Sheets rumbles again, first down. And this will take the clock down near 3 minutes. Corey Sheets, huge night on the ground. Amen. 3-minute warning. Saskatchewan Roughriders explode here in the second half. 3 minutes away from going 2-0 in 2013. The CFL on TSN is brought to you by Wendy's Berry Almond Chicken Salad. Wendy's, now that's better. Playoff type atmosphere here in the greenhouse tonight, Mosaic Stadium. Darian Durant and the Roughriders 3 minutes away from their second win of the young season.
Corey Sheets over 100 yards rushing. Should see a steady diet of him as this game winds down, and the Saskatchewan Roughriders style heat up the clock.
Darian Durant, pretty good first half. Been outstanding in the second. Has been the orchestra leader. And Sheets again.
The Sheets shuffle. That's what I'm going to call it. Remember when Muhammad Ali used to shuffle backwards?
Yeah.
And then step into one? Well, Sheets shuffles forward. Like shuffle. Here. Take it. Shuffle. See that little shuffle step? Shuffle. Slide. Shuffle. Go.
That's like a new dance step. Like a new song. Shuffle, shuffle, slide, shuffle. First down. What a night for him. They initiate on the ground. They go to the air. Found Gressler and Getzlaff. What a 1-2 punch they have been tonight.
Oh, baby, have they ever. How about 18 catches for over 200 yards for Chris Getzlaff and Weston Dressler by themselves? Those two together.
Calgary.
Calgary trying to slow this clock down. 2:10 to go.
And Durant has completed almost 90% of his passes in the second half.
There it is, his story, first half to second half. Again, pretty good first half. Not bad, but look at the second half.
87.5%.
And the key, no picks, no fumbles.
That's
Lead
two games straight now with 2 minutes to go without a turnover.
Trying to keep it clean. 2nd and 8. Sheets, look at the blocking. Corey Sheets. The Sheets show continues. Shuffle, shuffle. Slide, slide.
May get a break here. He's gonna. The training staff has to come out. They were all starting to hit on the field, and he'd have to sit out 3 plays.
Well, fait accompli perhaps here. 2-touchdown game now. 2-touchdown lead. 2 minutes to go. Another first down, and in this territory, Roughriders on their way to sealing this thing and really stealing it in the second half. Calgary Stampeders have been dominant against Saskatchewan. Go back to the West Division semifinal. The playoffs, 2 of 3 last year. And Corey Sheets leads. Last week,
Standing ovation.
131. He did 3 yards better this week.
Last week was a personal best. He just bested it.
What's
I
the
don't
old
think that's the correct grammar, but he just bettered it.
It is now. What do they say? Get better every game? That's what he's doing.
Yep.
And Durant.
You know, and both these offensive coordinators did a pretty good job, although Dave Dickinson didn't have his offense on the field very much in the second half. But I think the one difference I noticed was George Cortez in the second half brought Corey Sheets into the game a lot more. Gave him the football and brought balance to the offense, whereas Dickinson, early in that first half, kept it in the air, kept throwing it, and didn't ignore John Cornish, but didn't get him more involved, and that's really been the only difference of a pretty well-called game by both sidelines. The Stamps just didn't have as many possessions, not even close in the second half.
You mentioned that Muhammad Ali shuffle a little earlier in the reference to the greatest is Ricky Schmidt. Flies one to the moon. What a kick. 1 point. 15-point lead, but you know, you mentioned that, and if you consider the subplot to this game, or the plot was kind of the Ali Fraser Cornish against Sheets. Tonight was a knockout. Corey Sheets.
Yeah, great point. I mean, and not necessarily Cornish's fault.
No.
Just didn't get the call. And I know Calgary fans, after kind of watching this game, seeing the reaction, they've circled already August 9th. That's when Saskatchewan travels to McMahon Stadium.
The Christmas tree game. Red and green in the stands. Kevin Glenn fires far sideline. They got to go out of bounds here. Again, there is always a possibility in CFL football that you could come back from this deficit, but there is another concern for Drew Tate. Off injured last year. Dislocated shoulder early on. Then the concussion when he came back for a miracle comeback against these Roughriders in the playoffs. Big question mark moving forward, and again, it's great to have Kevin Glenn as your insurance. Jabari Arthur.
That is the second first down for the Calgary Stampeders in the second half.
Which is crazy when you consider how they started this ball game.
No question. I mean,
It's not how you start, it's how you finish.
well, the deep ball to Joe West got him started, and saw some big plays from the offense in that first quarter. Joe West touchdown to end the first half.
Jabari Arthur. Yeah, who would have thought as time ticks away here? This one is in the bag. Who would have thought that touchdown just before halftime would have been the last touchdown we saw from the Calgary Stampeders, barring them going into the end zone here.
Yeah, last points.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, credit the Saskatchewan defense some, but again,
Your offense was your best defense
that's
tonight.
right. Exactly. That's right. Darian Durant, time of possession, he owned it.
Glenn. Oh, what a hit. Caught by Marquay McDaniel. And now tempers are frayed here. And we see some kicking going on. We see some punching going on. John Gott's involved. And a frustrated Calgary Stampeder team getting it taken to them here in the second half. Dwight Anderson was in on that hit. And it was Gott.
Well, that'll be supplemental, and so will the kick.
Terrius George. But it was Marquay McDaniel getting leveled by Dwight Anderson.
Right, Calgary was banged up so much last year, still got there. They've gone through some injuries tonight. After Marquay McDaniel.
There's Anderson on the hit. It was Jermaine McElveen who was that Rough Rider who was down on the turf, going at it with Gott. Time ticks down. Glenn Dodges one, ducks. He might have been over the line of scrimmage, it looked like. No matter. Incomplete. Big green machine here in the second half.
Well, a lot of people here, I think, in the province were wondering just how good this Rider team was after the game against Edmonton. I heard a lot on talk radio all week long that it was Edmonton, a young, struggling team coming out of the gate. Let's wait until you see them against the Calgary Stampeders. Well, you've seen them now.
Final play, barring penalty. Glenn throws it deep and picked off. Harris ends it. A Rider Nation celebration.
Hey, Mom, Dad, Michael. Love y'all, man.
22 second half points for Saskatchewan. No points for Calgary. The Riders are 2-0. 36-21 tonight from the Madhouse at Mosaic. Good night, everybody.